Just McAuliffe it up.
Yeah.
Just start getting more and more hectic with each one. Hello and welcome into Broken Home, the only podcast where being broke ain't all bad. I'm your host, Jeremy Webb, now in video. And for some reason, that's making me talk weird. I haven't done a lot of on-camera stuff, you may have noticed. Joining me this week is Roland Hoffman.
Hi.
On the first video. Don't wave.
Oh, okay. I don't.
Only I may dance.
I'm always really bad. I think I'd be really bad at acting because I could never not acknowledge that there's a camera right there.
Yeah, I'm
an absolute. My eye lines would be fucked the whole time.
I'm a parakeet with it. It wouldn't just be looking. It would be just throwing eyebrows around.
And because I can see myself there, and I'm constantly trying to. I'll be doing this. I mean, I do this a lot anyway, but I'll be doing this a lot just because.
I do it anyway. Just
yeah.
It's my natural habitat of just, I'm a walking Pantene commercial.
I keep fixing the wrong side because I'm in mirror. We can see ourselves, and
but
we're in mirror.
It's the worst thing because I've left this one on so that I can see it and make sure it's actually working.
Yeah.
But it's the worst distraction in the world to be able to just see yourself through the whole thing.
Yeah.
So it has been a while since I did my last audio episode. I'd like to say that it was because I was setting up for the video and stuff, but it's like I already owned everything. It's like these are from Dad, but like that is one thing I'm proud of is that nothing in this set, except for the branded things, actually cost me anything.
Yeah.
'Cause it's like the wood I already had for the letters just laying around. Dad literally got this from a skip. He picks up skips. He's not just rummaging around him, but
because I thought you painted this part as well, but
no, that's where I tried to stick it together and it looked real shit.
Oh, all right. No, that's. But yeah, you didn't actually paint this. It's just
No.
But it's like really handy.
Because Dad picked up a bin from the Dan Murphy's that had closed down, and so he's just got a bunch of Dan Murphy stuff that he's just sort of like got next to his mower. It's just like in a big pile.
What Dan Murphy's closed down?
One of them.
I feel like I know, but I just feel. I feel like that's one store you never hear about closing down. They're very popular. Yeah,
but it could have been a move location type deal.
That's true.
But yeah, because they're just so they'll be backed up by whoever.
Yeah.
That, like, why would one go out of business?
Yeah.
I've seen places where that's all there is.
Yeah.
It's just Dan Murphy's, Kmart, and then like Kmart Tire and Auto attached.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you need? One corner store just to...
Yeah, because even if there are other bottle-os, everyone usually is a Dan Murphy's. They're cheaper. This is sponsored by Dan Murphy's, by the way.
No. I'll tell you what, we're going to be sponsored later, though. You got to remember to point at both.
Okay, cool.
While that one's still going.
All right.
Whatever.
Okay.
We're both very professional about this.
Oh, so professional. We kind of matched this. Like there's a uniform for this particular podcast: the blue jeans and the black shirt. Yeah, and
I think we just both
brunette beard.
I just gave you the heads up of like how we're going to be on camera, so we both went with slimming black.
Oh, absolutely. I did that. I was like, because I'm towards the end of a laundry cycle. I've only got a few t-shirts left. And only one black one. And I was like, I'm going out later. I don't want to.
I see that. I like that you've got like that approach to the laundry cycle where builds, do it all. Whereas because I'm working from home, it's this constant ticking.
It never stops.
It never stops. And even if you balance it out, so it's like in that constant flow, it's worse.
Yeah.
Because then you're stuck in a cycle that you can never see the end of. At least when you do the big bulk load, you get a feeling of like satisfaction.
Yeah. When
you finish that load, you go, there, it's all done.
Yeah.
Ignore the like underwear that you just wore.
Yeah.
Put to the side. You're like, I'm going to pretend. Put it behind the door.
And you feel like a king for those first few days.
Especially if you've done the sheets as well.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Like if you're into clean sheets, there's no laundry anywhere that you're paying attention to.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a great feeling. But I can't. Because I'm here, I can't let it pile up that much. So I'm just like, all right.
So because you got like your underwear, t-shirts, then there's like sweaters. They have they all have their own different ways of drying. So while some things could be ready immediately because they've gone through the dryer,
they should should have a different way of drying. I just take the towels out because otherwise it blows the spin cycle out.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's going in.
So even I don't think there's possible because even if most of it's done, you've still got stuff that needs to dry.
The thing I hate
by the time that stuff's dry, you're like halfway through the rest of it.
Yeah, and then if you go into the big, like, I'm going to make the folding pile, you're back in the same trap. I can't remember what I was going to say, but it's a good chance, like, the camera's good because it's my chance to show off the new mustache.
I was going to mention that before. It's
everybody
very,
tries
very
to,
stylish.
See, that's the best thing. I now have 2 Darrow looks that, you know, you avoid them for years. It's like, all right, I'm not going to go the mullet. That was the first one. And then I got one for Kappa's Bucks night.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you know, there's going to be cunts there in flannies or whatever. I'm getting the mullet and let's get into it. And then I looked at it when he's done. I'm like, fuck, I look good. That's just what I've been fighting for years. You're just like, oh, no. I knew I'd become addicted as soon as it happened.
I know.
Mum told me this would happen with mullets.
The mullet is a gateway haircut. That is true.
You wait, I'll just be like in the half entirely soon.
But I actually know so many people who have gotten into the mullet originally as a joke and then gone, actually, no, this works for me.
Yeah.
And they just keep it. They have it for years.
Man, the first time that you bend over to do something and your hair doesn't fall in your face, but you can still feel it on your neck. Oh,
that does sound like a dream. As someone who has had their fair share of experience with long hair.
Yeah, you were
that
like
would
below shoulder length.
Yeah, I was around the shoulder blades. Yeah.
Yeah. For like a good while when I met you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that and now this, like trimming down to it, looking in the mirror, I'm like, it just works. It just works for my face.
You're almost annoyed how well it goes.
Yeah, because I'm like, oh man, I just absolutely just smash it at a country dance. Like, knowing what I'm bringing to the table now. I own cowboy boots now. It's a whole fucking thing. But I'm just like, now what do I try next? I'm like, I don't think I could get away with the rat tail because I genuinely think nobody can.
No one can get away with a rat's tail.
So
That's the one thing that.
But that's now it's for science. It's like, do I try it out to see? Am I Neo of being a Darrow? Like, can I see the code? Can I bend it to my will?
If you're like the one person in the world who can pull off a rat's tail.
Oh yeah. If I've got the rat's tail there, I'm just on the front of just magazines. Just Times Man of the Year.
It's you shirtless and the rat's tail just draped across here.
Just covering my nipples.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going
how tiny your nipples?
No, how big is my rat tail?
Oh, right, that's true. Well, at some stage, a rat's tail is just like a braided ponytail, isn't it? If it's too thick, it's not really a rat's tail.
That is a good one to look up. What is the thickness where it actually tips over the tipping point and goes from a braid to a rat's tail? And I think it mostly depends on the person's face.
Yeah, that is true.
Like, there's plenty of dudes that I'd say, I'm like, yeah, that's a braided ponytail. He looks like a, like Tolkien dwarf.
Yeah.
He's got the beard and the massive shoulders walking around. You're like, okay, that's a braid.
Yeah.
But if you look fucking, you know what I mean.
If you look like a rat.
Yes, exactly. If you look like a rat, it looks like a rat's tail. It's just how it is. You look like a weird Pokemon that's also got a body.
Yeah.
Just like a weird Mr. Potato Head rat man. Oh, that'd be fucking terrifying. Just like a rat's head and then with a tail down the back. It's like, you can change its face.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can get rid of it.
Yeah.
So, I had to cover a thing because I haven't done anything for YouTube. Like, so I don't know the rules.
For YouTube?
Like, yeah, because the podcast stuff, you just go, yeah, there's swearing or whatever. And that's all fine. But I'm like, what do I... Because I think I got to keep it off being explicit. So one, I'm going to have to edit out all the swearing.
What do you... It's like...
That's already an extra... That's why the show's going back to fortnightly with the video, is because I have to edit out my own swear. Because I'm not changing how I talk.
Yeah, well, that's true. I was like, I can surprisingly enough, because I don't think... I am the person who I think swears the most that I know.
But I reckon you're also someone who switches it off.
Oh, yeah, but that's the thing. I can switch it off.
Yeah, 100%. I can't.
Yeah.
Because once you learn that you can swear in front of grandma, there's not a lot she can really do about it.
This is me now.
Yeah, this is how this is. That was a bet. Dot's hanging around, just like we're playing sports or whatever. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
She's just there. It's like, you be careful. I'll cut you out of the will. I'm like, what will? Fucking... Who cares? I've got a car and whatever else I need. I'll figure it out. Well, that was always my assumption. Yeah. It's like, if you go in expecting that you weren't getting anything.
Yeah.
Like, that's my dad, just got a TV once.
Yeah.
Out of, somebody close to him dying. And you're like,
that's
bonus.
Pretty good.
If you just go with nothing, I'm sad. And then everything is a way up from there.
Because a lot of people, especially our age, talk about how like when their parents die, they might get a house or something.
No.
Like one of the few people I know that when both my parents are gone, I'll probably just be in more debt.
Mine, it depends entirely on how mum dies.
Yeah. Under what circumstances?
Yeah. If she
Okay.
dies in certain ways, I get the house is paid off.
All
if
right.
not,
Okay.
it's just as is.
That's sinister. All right.
It is sinister, but she's at least done the smart thing and not told me what they are. You know what I mean? If you're getting that kind of condition in your in your fucking health insurance, you don't tell the people that are going to benefit at all. You tell them that if it's not the right way, they don't get the money.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, cool. I'll just... Surely old age is going to be one of the options. I'm taking the safe bet. Because I don't think axe to the back is going to be one of the accepted reasons.
I can wait. I can wait this one out.
Speaking of the editing, I've got to check if vapes are okay too.
Oh, true. I can put this away.
No. It's funnier, like, for this being the first one, if you just, like, have it out. I'm just going to grab a smoke in a second anyway.
Oh, I should probably hold the microphone at my face. People smoke weed on podcasts that are online.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
The nerve.
Yeah.
You can never do it. Fuck. You can never do a cool line after a drag where you've got to, like, keep a straight face.
Yeah.
You just can't hold it in the right way. Evidently. So, I'll get to this bit as well. Because what I want to do is just sort of give people a bit of a recap as to what's happened since the last episode I had. Because there's surprisingly quite a lot crammed in there.
Yeah.
But before that, I got to tell you this. I don't know what to do with this story except tell you on this right now.
Nice.
Like, because it doesn't really work as a bit. I've
Okay,
tried it on stage. Doesn't work. I'm like, here it lives.
Yeah.
So I'm walking a couple blocks from here, just taking the dog out for a walk. And she goes up to, like, see another dog. And so this old woman walking, and I'm chatting to this old woman. And she's like, you know when, like, ladies get old enough that they look like they're always holding their purse?
Yeah.
Like
the
the little raptor hands, even though there's, like, a bag there or not.
Yeah.
And the bag is always, like, really thin chain that goes through the hand, but also it's only, like, a foot long. So you can never, like, put it over a shoulder or anything.
Yeah.
It's just, it's this. It's for this. So I'm chatting to her. And I've got this theory that no matter how boring or bland a person is, they've got one story that is genuinely interesting. Some people, you got to dig for it.
Yeah.
That's why I'll be sitting next to the weirdest dudes in the pub.
Yeah.
Where everyone's leaving alone. I'm like, nah, I'm panning for gold here.
This guy's
There's
got
gold
stories.
in their
Yeah.
hills.
Yeah.
It's deeper than most, but
Yeah.
I'll get to it.
Yeah, I
And so-
walked in and saw that rat's tail, and I was like, this guy knows.
Yeah.
Some
It
things.
doesn't suit him, but he looks like
Yeah.
he's fought for it for
Yeah.
years. Imagine that. Imagine having grey hairs and a rat tail.
That's rough.
Man, it's going to take what we've got until the point where we've got geriatric Bradens.
Yeah.
Until you see those rat tails. It's not like hippies don't do it. They've just got the fucking hair or the terrible dread.
Yeah.
It's like, nah. The only people who are going to do it is when our generation gets old enough. Oh, man. Just watching kids, like, you know, they got pegs on the side of their wheelchairs.
Yeah.
So you can dink your mates around
It's
the old folks.
Just baseball cards and the spokes. Just
Oh, yeah. So I'm doing all that shit.
yeah.
And also the best thing is my hobby is video games. It's like, you can't tell me I'm not going to still be able to be doing that.
Yeah.
You just lean back and the controllers will just be thoughts by that point. But yeah, so just chatting to this old bird. And we're just talking about the dogs and little dogs. And like talking about bringing dogs to things.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I've got a story about that. A friend of mine, they got a new little puppy. It was like small enough to like fit in your hand there. And they took it to a friend's dinner party. And so they had it in the house at the dinner party. And then the host's cat ate it. And then just fucking stops. I'm like, she didn't say hate. She means it. Like, it ate the dog. And I, like, specifically ate as well. Because, like, it didn't just kill the dog.
Yeah.
It was like a dragon under the porch, like a sparrow, and just fucking ate it.
Jesus Christ.
And the best bit, she then at the end, just as like wrapping up the storyline, she's like, oh, I don't know if the friendship's still going after that. And I'm like, I think I've got an idea. Because, like, imagine ever going to dinner with that person again for either party. You know what I mean?
And it's like the cat's just like, what have you brought me this time?
Because because I've had like a really small dog that we got just like someone's dropped it off somewhere.
Yeah.
Because it's the runt of the litter and like, you know, it's just not getting fed.
Yeah.
And like literally it could fit in a beer can.
Yeah.
And so I just remembered a photo that we had of that and our incredibly fat cat. And I'm like, man, you were on thin ice that whole time.
Lucky. It's like that cat's never seen a cartoon. It's not supposed to work that way.
I know, some cartoons it is.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like there's meant to be a smaller cat first, though, and then it's a lion.
Yeah. Well, it's got to be like, it's
It's
mouse,
got to be a lion
cat,
with a mouth
dog.
big enough that you can run into,
Yeah.
get scared and run out of again before
run
you
into, not realize where you are, light a match.
Oh, yeah.
Realize you're in the
Somehow
stomach
your
of a cat.
eyes are illuminating and floating through the air first. And
Yeah. Then you run back out.
yeah, with a puff of smoke at exactly your shape.
Yeah.
Fuck, if I could, like...
That's how I usually leave a room.
I would love if there was a genie where it's like you can have any power you want that doesn't impact the world.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, and that would be the kind of shit you'd have.
Yeah.
Like, okay, when I run off, I want a cloud of smoke that looks just like me to stay there. It's like, all right, there you go.
I want to be able to leave a room through the wall and with just my shape.
Oh, yeah,
left.
Slimer style.
Yeah.
Yes. If I could have the powers of Slimer, just to like fall through things sometimes and be just ravenously hungry and disgusting for my whole life. Or just like, you could look at somebody in the supermarket and whatever they're holding, the bottom just falls out. Just like cereal and shit like that. Just stuff where you go, and could walk off.
I want to be able to paint a tunnel on the side of a cliff and then have a whole ass train come out of it.
I want to be able to get into a fight with somebody and then just a cloud merges around us with hands and feet coming out of it that I just open a door out of the smoke and then walk out of.
Yeah.
That's my favourite move. Just going from something that is not solid to solid in a cartoon like that is just really amusing.
It's really good.
Like just somebody grabbing a cloud that's in the distance and just doing something with it. And you're just like, I guess I didn't see that one coming. But yeah, just... There's always a wild story in your neighbours. So I'm like, just chat to them a little bit. Eventually, they'll be close enough to you to just give you the one absolute nugget.
Their cat eating a dog story.
Do you have a cat eating the dog story? I feel with comics it's harder because we've already crammed other stories into other things.
Yeah, we've kind of really,
but
we've already mined everything that interesting that's happened to us and embellished it. Yeah. So everything, even if you find it interesting in your day-to-day life, no one else cares because it's like, this isn't as good as your other stories.
Yeah, that you've lied about.
Yeah, that I...
Well, these bits I'm going to have to learn how to cut out. That's the other thing. Like, I can't do any more stories to shock people and accept that it's trauma. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, all of my mates that are my fucked up stories, because they're fun to talk about. Yeah. But the ones where you start to go, oh, no, that's actually, there's no joke here. Yeah. Like, that's just awful. Yeah. And you're just like, it's almost the point where I'm like, even if I can make a joke about it, or could make a joke about it with the people involved, no one else is going to be on board. Yeah. It's, those are the ones where it's like, it has to be an in joke, because it can't be an out joke. Yeah. Or if you do make an out joke, you just get looks from people. Yeah. And people just genuinely going, are you all right? Yeah. So I'm like, I live for that sentence. Yeah.
That's exactly what I wanted from that exchange.
So, what we'll do, take a quick break here, because I feel like if we start the list, I want to get through the list before this camera stops recording. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're back in a sec. I'm going to put some interstitials here of some kind. I think I'm going to do is that, the stuff that me and Connie are doing.
Star wipe?
Now it is. I'm going to do that between every camera change. Fuck, that's a good idea.
Just a star wipe to the same shot. Just star out.
That's what I'm going to do. No, every time I bleep a swear word, I'm going to star wipe back. So it'll bleep. Yeah. The star wipe will go, oh, fuck yeah. That's definitely going in. Because my other thing is that, welcome back, guys. We're just going to keep going with this. What I want to do for... hang on, that's just locked. Let's double check this. Okay, let's go down. Welcome back again. What was I saying?
Star wipe.
Oh, yes. Don't give that one away.
Okay.
Even though if they've watched, it's happened
It's very
so many
very
times.
apparent by now.
But any bleeps for swear words? I'm like, you can put any noise there. People always go the bleep. And
Yeah.
now, it used to be because it's got to go over the noise.
Yeah.
So you're literally sounding out somebody. But it's like, you just mute that bit anyway.
Yeah.
Or I do. Because used to be some things said that I'm like, if it's getting bleeped, that's pretty extreme.
Yeah.
Like, I had a whole episode that was just two of my friends in creative fashions just calling me a pedophile
All right.
for like an hour and a half. And it's like, none of that got bleeped. But it's like other episodes, if there's a bleep, you're like, oh, damn.
It must have been something particularly cooked that was said there.
Forgot to start my thing here. But yeah, I always mute that because I'm like, what if someone hears through the beep?
Yeah,
And it's always that, like, that's where those little details or whatever get away from you. Because it's just like, yeah, I'll just put the beep there. But then you just get the little nugget of detail and somebody. So I just out of instinct always mute it.
Yeah.
But that means people always go the beep still?
Yeah.
Nah, that's boring.
I'm
going to get moans from porn.
Okay.
Because you can't swear on YouTube and not
Yeah.
be explicit. But if I just check it,
Yeah.
that's how my porn sounds.
Yeah.
I
That
exclusively have a
specifically.
fetish from like the Who's from Whoville.
Yeah.
All right, so I did like a little summary list, just a catch-up list
Mm-hmm.
of what's gone on since the last episode. I'm just going to
Let's
nail
get
through
into
a
it.
couple of them. So I
Yeah.
have got, people refer to it as a green card, and I fucking hate it
Yeah.
when you get your weed prescription.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like they go, oh, you get your green card, and I'm like, the whole point of smoking weed and like not looking like a dumbass
Yeah.
is to not act anything like any of those stoner movies.
Yeah.
It's like, fucking green card. It's like, I remember somebody hitting me up once, a comic who was, slumming it to get weed.
Yeah.
And they hit me up, they're like, hey man, you got any green? And I'm just like, you fucking loser. Like, what are you talking about? Like, we're not children.
Just say weed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, and then that's where I always, like, it's usually if somebody hits me up on Facebook because
Yeah.
they've ran out, just as like a desperate whatever. But then as soon as they use something like that, I just write the longest and fully explicit response. It's like, sure, man, I can get you some weed as soon as you can. Like I've got 1 these grams and like it cost me this original. Like,
Yeah.
just so much detail. It's like, all right, I'll come to your house and then put their address in it. Like, it's like if you're gonna be coy with me, I'm gonna absolutely fuck with that. So yeah, got the weed prescription. I'm excited to try it.
Yeah.
Hopefully everyone gets that. Just to hammer the point home.
Yeah.
So yeah, change to the mustache. That one's on the list because it came up earlier though.
Yeah.
Of course it would. I'm surprised they even had it on the list. I had food poisoning while I was in the lead up to a house inspection.
Oh, that's rough.
So like for 3 days, I'm just like cleaning and just ducking it. Although, accomplishment, I had the biggest power spew I've ever had while sober.
That's
It's
impressive.
happened now.
Yeah, it's
It's one of those things where it's like, there's always a funny as this or a sad
Yeah.
as this. It's like, I've had the biggest spew that I've
Yeah.
had.
biggest
while
sober
sober.
spew.
Yeah. Because it was one of those ones where I went, "Huh," and it's usually like, here's where it stops. And it's just,
And it just-
"Whoa."
yeah.
It like keeps going. Like watching one of those like foam science
Yeah.
experiments that grows up. Just feeling like
Yeah.
that's coming out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Terrifying. Then get this. Real estate agent didn't turn up
At all.
at all. And we call her up and call up the office and they just
Yeah.
go, oh yeah, she's sick. I nearly put my foot through the fucking screen that I was sitting in front of. I'm like, she's sick. How about a fucking call? Because it was like
Yeah.
between 3 and 5 p.m. So I can't go anywhere
you
during the
can't.
day.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I'm like, okay, cool. Can we just count this as done then?
Yeah.
And she's like, nah, I got to come in and do it still. But I was sick on Friday and literally was using a thing of like, in the email from
Yeah.
an office. She's like, I always have to give people leeway for their problems, but if I'm sick, I'm the bad guy. You're a fucking real estate agent. What are you digging for sympathy from me? This is the same, like it's on my list, destroyed real estate agent. That's on here.
Alright.
Because the next thing they do, she sends me an updated date for the inspection. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, it's going to be here. But it's only 6 days away.
Yeah. No, I can't do that.
Can't do that at all. But then I go, it's not 7 days. That's what's required. So can you give me another date, please? And then she goes, actually, it is 7 days. I'm like, you can lie to me a lot of things about, real estate laws, whatever. I can't always call you out. But numbers is numbers.
Numbers be numbers.
It was literally a thing. So in my email, I'm like, hi there. So tomorrow would be 1 day's notice.
Yeah.
Which would mean the 6th would be 2 days' notice. The 7th would be 3 days, and just went all the way down.
Yeah.
And the 10th would be 6 days' notice. This is less than 7. And then just like tagged reception in it as well and sent it in. Then someone else sends me a reply that just says, you'll be getting a heads up when your new date for the inspection is. So either someone's taken over that and just went, you don't know what you're doing, or she's just gone, please.
Just
Somebody.
someone else.
Someone take care of this guy. Because it's like, I'm a little bit annoying, but I'm cheeky chappy about it.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those, that's the thing. We've been living here for like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
Never had late rent, never had fucking holes in the walls or anything. It's like, why are you even still doing the inspection?
Yeah.
I'm
it's
gonna
fine.
be fine.
Yeah.
Or at least I've been working that whole time.
Yeah.
And I could pay for damages. But keep going down the list. So since then, I've also made a lovely bathroom garden that makes it very hard to avoid smoking inside.
But bathroom garden.
Yeah, so I've got like a bunch
yeah.
of plants and stuff that are growing up near the window.
Oh yeah, nice.
Makes it really nice to be in there, and like you can water it easily and everything. But I am sometimes where I'm just like chilling up there. I'm like, because this is my usual smoking spot in a garage, not a lot of sunlight, kind of hard to grow plants.
Yeah,
but it's just I'm up there. It's like if the sun's coming through the window and sitting out, I'm like, I really could just sit on the toilet here and just ash into the sink. Which I've only done on 2 occasions. Once, the worst hangover I've had in the last 6 years. I was not only sitting there like smoking in the bathroom, I just had my head against the sink that I was ashing into, just because it was cold.
Yeah.
We've all had that hangover where you just like you put your head somewhere it shouldn't be, like on the floor tiles.
Yeah.
And you go, fuck it, I'm just gonna stay here. I'm just gonna chill out with this is cold. Like I've passed out in those spots where you've cold or warm. Just like if it's freezing or if it's hot, you'll find one or the other as your last act of like consciousness, and you just like see somebody.
It's a very survival kind of.
It's like a possum bleeding out.
Yeah.
You're just like, I need the heat.
Yeah.
And I'm done. I woke up one time with a bunch of mates in my bedroom, but I was just had this like tiny little room in the backyard.
Yeah.
It's about 14 of us in there. It's like 8 on the bed.
Yeah.
It's a regular double, but it's like nobody can go home because we smell like alcohol.
Oh, yeah.
Let's all pile into Jeremy's room so we don't look sus. But then, another 8 people on the floor or however many. I wake up at one point because it's not real comfortable. You'd be surprised to imagine. And I look over and my mate Josh is over there, and I had one of those little 3-bar electric heaters.
Yeah.
The ones that are just they move back and forth.
Yeah.
Just face on it. He's just laying there, just now that I've got cameras, just one side of his cheek, he's just laying sideways too. So he's propped at 90 degrees on his neck, just on the heater. But I'm also wasted. So I'm just like, oh no, how are we going to manage this? So I just leant over and just grabbed him by the hair and just shook him a bit.
Yeah.
So he would come loose and hit the floor. I'm like, that's all I got.
But
I've saved his life.
Had he already melted to the... melted
I didn't see any grill patterns,
right.
so I'm like, I think we're good. I've saved his life. I can't save his hair.
Yeah.
Right? I make no promises on the hair. I dropped 10 kegs. That's pretty good.
That's nice. You're looking svelte.
Thank you. It's the black.
Yeah, that's...
But it was because I smashed my knee up at the same Bucks party where I cut my hair into the mullet.
Yeah.
But I've been rehabbing that, so it's good to just have an excuse that if you don't do, things will get much worse.
Yeah.
I need the panic state.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, there's so many things from, school to whatever. Just, I need that last...
I can crush an essay in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Research it, everything.
Yeah.
If you give me 5 days, I'm still doing it in that 2 hours.
Yeah.
I just need it.
And you get into that headspace, and you're like, oh, why didn't I do this 5 days ago?
Yeah, I wouldn't have had to do it, but then you never remember to do it next time. I had some sort of thing at uni because I did game design, so it was just something that needed a lot of rendering.
Yeah.
And I'm sleeping under the desk at uni in the 24-hour labs where you can lock yourself in, and it's just fun. But at the end of it, I'm just holding up the thing. I'm like, yeah, crushed it. And then just falling asleep in class and just missing half the next lecture, which I then need to cram into my next assignment.
It's
just a fucking awful system.
Yeah. It's not great. I'd always have friends like at high school and stuff. They'd be talking about they'd already done it. They were gonna. It'd be like the night before or the day before, and like I'm thinking I got to go home and do this assignment or do this essay.
Yeah.
And they're talking about going home and just like reading over it so they can like maybe revise. Like fuck you.
Off. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Anybody who openly says
Yeah.
they're going over their homework.
Yeah.
Like, if this was a dissertation you were fucking submitting or something, sure. You can go over that for a while if you like. But it's just like, English fucking test essay where you've got to write 3 in the fucking final exam anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, who cares? One time I had an argument with a teacher because we were supposed to write an essay, but I'd done fuck all study for it so far. And most other people were about the same. Actually, it was 1984. I've lived a long time.
Didn't know you were that old.
Hey! No, we were doing the book 1984, which I actually found, interesting.
Yeah.
So this one time they're like, oh yeah, write an essay for it, and I decided I'd go through like the quotes, get all the quotes together, what they imply, what they mean, and put together like 4 pages of like this is the information I should remember.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's not an essay. You've got detention. And just me being like, I literally lost it in that class.
Yeah.
Was literally no longer allowed with that English teacher. Mostly because I refused to go. She's like, well, I guess you're never going to come back then if you're not going to apologize. I'm like, guess so, bitch. And then just went to the library instead. And then eventually just had 2 other teachers just sort of like march up to me. Like, we're studying 1984, right? And this is... You just goose-stepped your way up to me in the library. Am I going in for brief training? I repaired a piano. The one that was out here, so ended up doing all the woodworking on that and getting that finished. But more impressively, I then got it into the house using my car jack. Because it's like, there's one step to get into my house. In any way, you got at least a few inches. This one here is 2 bricks high. You're never getting it up there. So I had to go round to the front. Ooh. And when I got to the step, I just had to use my little wheel jack. And so I'd get it all the way up and then just tip the jack over. Yeah. So it would just go, woo, and just get me that little bit of clearance that I need. But fuck, the back's hard because then you do. You got so much further to go. Yeah. And if it just slips back over the lip of the door, I'm just fucked. But I got it in there. So it's still not tuned, cannot use.
Fair enough.
But it's a good shelf.
It's still impressive.
Yeah. I'm happy enough with the jack story. I don't even need to get it tuned now. It's just like, hey, I moved that. Yeah. I'd love that if that just applied in other things. Like some dude gets like I've just lifted 200 kilos. So he just mounts the 200 kilo bar on the wall like it's his basketball that he won, getting a 50-point game.
Yeah. People come over, do you play? He's like, no, I move.
I actually genuinely, I think there'd have to be a muscle dude out there with that.
Yeah.
With a dumbbell that he's lifted and mounted somewhere on the world's strongest TV bracket. It's like, this thing's meant to hold up an IMAX screen. And he's just got his fucking lifts on it. And the photo that he's put out and made it black and white anyway. Yeah. He's like sepia tones it and put it in the wooden frame. Yeah. Started doing shifts at the titty bar. That's good fun. Okay. Working for Bo. I'll bleep his name as well, but only to make it sound more suspicious. I'm not worried this camera's going out of focus, but I don't think I care. But that did lead to a cool moment where I was checking out dudes at the event with Miss Nude World.
With what?
Miss Nude World.
Oh, right, yeah.
So it's just like, met this person, we're chatting, and then there was this particular dude that we're looking. He looked like ripped as fuck, beautiful smooth skin all over him, but he looked like one of those old-timey weightlifters.
All right.
He's bald on top and the little mustache. But he's also just jacked. I'm like, and then we're just there. Like, we're making regular comments, but then I'm dropping in shit like, oh, yeah, I'd love to just watch him pick up a round dumbbell and just, in like a set of tight, like a little fucking onesie. Just like,
the ones.
And she's just sort of looking at me. I'm like, oh, right, you don't get it. You don't get what I'm doing.
It's like one of those guys you have like the little pictures with their head cut out and you put your face through. But he's like, he brought his own face.
He walks through it because he's massive. See, there's another power. You put your head in the thing and then you can actually just be disguised.
Yeah.
I'd love to just be disguisable in cartoonish ways.
Yeah.
Like if I get in a bush in real life, you can still, there's gaps.
Yeah.
You can see through to the bush.
Yeah.
But I just want to be able to, like, a bush, like you said with the painting, train can come out, but I can fucking go in.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I can escape from anything, but it has to be like a cartoon.
Yeah.
Like, a ladder just comes from the roof and I just hang on to
Yeah.
it. Just whenever you need, your panic one is just the My Planet Needs Me, and you just stand dead still and move up into the sky.
Just canes coming out of nowhere, yanking you out
Oh,
of situations.
Yeah. Just do the old Pink Panther.
Yeah.
Exit stage left and then just disappear at the speed of light. Booked a trip to Taiwan. That'll be good fun.
Mm.
Got a mate who's getting married soon, so
Nice.
it's not for the wedding. It's just that I've never been over there to catch up with him. Sorry, I say Taiwan. It is China until I get back safely.
Okay.
China. Man, if
That's
it's
when
up on the internet now.
that's when the flag folds down behind us.
Yeah, if I just tilt this down. I was about to comedically sing the Chinese national anthem.
Yeah.
Don't know it.
Yeah, don't know what that is.
But I'm assuming like it's one of those ones here if you play it. And I'm like, actually, I've heard this a lot.
Yeah, no,
But that'll be good fun. Started doing gigs again, which is,
nice.
Mixed results.
Yeah,
As usual.
I like the cat eating the dog story.
Yeah, but I think normal people are still a little bit fucked up by it. Because they still, once you've got that story, we're picturing it as we're guests at the party watching.
Yeah.
And like, that's so horrific that it's
Yeah.
funny. Like, I'm talking about this with everyone
Yeah.
when I get home. But like, they always put themselves in the perspective of one of the two parties involved.
Yeah.
I'm almost just like, why?
Yeah.
That's the way more
It's got to be the
tragic
third
and-
you have to be the
Yes.
third person in that scenario.
I'm a ghost floating
Yeah.
above, laughing at people, as I always dream of happening when I
Yeah.
die.
I mean, they're probably also thinking about the dead puppy, so that doesn't help as
Yeah.
well.
And just saying ate the puppy, not
Yeah.
kill it, just makes it so much worse to me.
Yeah.
So much worse. But that's all good. Had my first threesome. That was all right. Got to rub that in.
I didn't know where this list was going.
Well, you know the end.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure you've seen.
Yeah.
So Dad came down to visit.
Yeah.
So it's the first time Dad's actually visited me since I've moved out of home.
Nice.
I'm 33. And I bailed at 18. Like a Gen Z I can only fucking dream of. I worked for 1 year, bought a second-hand car I could afford, and fucked off to a different town. I hate how much of a flex that is these days.
Yeah. It really shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It should be like...
It's like we were talking about it on Murphy's podcast, which is, I did like 3 of in this gap.
Yeah.
Sadly. But we were talking about that with like Homer Simpson now. He's one income.
Yeah.
Family, 3. He owns a 2-story house
Yeah.
that sometimes they mortgage, but in other episodes they have fully paid off.
Yeah.
So it's like they're only a couple, like maybe 20, 30 grand
Yeah.
from like being away from that thing being paid off.
Yeah.
And it's just like he's always made out to just be broke as fuck.
Yeah. Cool, because back in the 89, like that was... They could be perceived as...
Well, it's like me and my
not
partner
doing well.
live here.
Yeah.
No kids. We both work.
Yeah.
She's got fucking doctor before her name.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we ain't saving shit.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's going on. But yeah, Dad came down to visit me. He came down for my birthday. Next on the list, did cocaine with my dad for the first time.
I was there for that. That was quite special.
It really was. We hugged afterwards, which has never happened before. My favourite part of that party, though, was you coming up to me at one stage. Because everyone was just getting to experience my old man for the first time after me just sort of telling them about him in a way that he's a cheeky chappy. Let's put it at that. Sometimes in a more extreme fashion than others.
Mm.
But at one stage, he came up to me. I believe it was while Dad was getting in our mate's face while he was playing pool.
Yeah.
He's an absolute nightmare. He's literally squatting down in front of the dude's face for every shot, just going, "You little fuckhead, mate. There ain't shit in there," with a big grin on his face. And Santa didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
It's just like, "What do you do with this?" I'm like, "Nothing, or you get cracked." He wants you to start.
Yeah.
But then at one point, you've just like come up next to me and you're like, "Man, I believe all the stories now." But he's so much shorter than I thought he would be. I'm like, yeah, that's what makes them even funnier. It's like, that he's just this random fucking.
It was
midget.
because it's something like cause all the stories that I've heard. I guess something about him seeming very larger than life. I always imagined like a much taller, bigger dude. But
yeah, more imposing.
Yeah,
but then you hang out with him enough, and you go, he takes up a lot of space in this room.
Yeah, it's crowded in here.
Oh yeah, my old man draws attention like you wouldn't fucking believe. Get him in, but like that's the thing where. Dad would tell me, like, I'd go back home to visit and I'd have some mates go, like, oh, I came up to you, saw your dad in the pub. And, like, 6 or 7 people tell me. And then Dad would just be like, oh, I saw your mate at the pub. Like, one.
Yeah.
Just merges them all together in his head.
But
it's like, you go there and he's just in there. People just love going, I'm having a chat to Tone. Well, it's like, I came out here at one point and, like, I was, like, because honestly, people coming up to me during the day and I'm just going, do you get it now? And I'm going, yeah. Like, that was so much fun.
Yeah.
Just the whole night. Because normally you're just with, like, one other person and they do it and you get the little fix. But I was just hitting it in my veins.
Yeah.
But the one bit where I'm like, I come back outside. I've been inside for, like, 2 minutes. And already Dad's just given a TED talk on how to destroy a toilet using only a lighter. He's like, yeah, you light the fucking bit of paper. You draw. I'm just like, this is great.
Yeah.
This is the best illustration that I'd show people of you ever.
Yeah.
And then, like, he's prompting, telling him about the bee grenade again.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, turns out there's extra details that I just didn't know about.
Yeah. Behind the scenes featurettes.
Yeah, but also kind of shattered that he's just like telling all my friends, like, I didn't get these details at first, you know, a little bit disappointed.
Yeah.
Like, Dad loves fucking talking, but so I went back and saw him at his place afterwards because I went and had a failed trip back to Manila. Because, like, I went organised to, like, see my cousins and see everybody, catch up to play basketball with my brother. Yeah. We go back. Basketball stadium's entirely booked out. Cousins' entire family has COVID. Yeah. So it's basically I went there, got baked with Dad one night, stayed at a motel I didn't need to stay in that was fucking awful, and then just went home. So it's just like, yeah, good to see us. But while I was there seeing Dad, so I'm hanging out at his place. He's doing his regular nonsense. Oh, that was funny. At the birthday party, it took him 2 minutes to mention his lawnmower after getting to my house. I turned up at his house, 4 minutes.
Oh, right, okay.
He's a little bit reserved when he's at home.
He just chilled out a little bit more because he's on his home turf.
But it was my favourite moment just hanging out there because they just rent the place in the middle of this, like, fucking orchard or whatever. It's hilarious. And then there's a guy that owns the place and his kid is, like, dating someone who has horses. Yeah. And so they've organised for the horses to be put out the other side of the property, right? Yeah. So just in a spare field next to it. And so we go down there. We're going for a walk. Dad's picking up some hay and he's talking to him. And he's like, yeah, you get away. This one's a pain in the ass. Always biting this one. Feeding them there. And then, like, you know, making sure they have a bit. And he's like, yeah, gives it a pat. And walks back over to me and just goes, I fucking hate horses. But the thing is, he meant it. Yeah. Like, he wasn't doing a joke. Yeah. He's like, you know, I'd be nice to him because, like, it'd be, like, you know, it's fucked up not to. Yeah. But then just coming over and like, I fucking hate these things.
The fact that he waited till they went away is, like, also, like, it's...
like they're going to hear it.
Yeah, they could be, like, really offended. Yeah.
Nah, that's great, man. Yeah, it's a good visit back there with him and his galah that hates me. He keeps trying to convince it that it doesn't. I'm like, it doesn't like it. Every time it sees me, it just gets, like, the feathers sticking up on its head. Yeah. And doing this weird little, like...
Oh, yeah, that like, little hiss sound, yeah.
But I'm like, if you're doing this in the wild, nobody's going to hear that. Yeah. It's, like, way too quiet. Like, any other noise that a bird makes is going to be ample enough to actually stop somebody from doing something. All right, I'm just going to wrap it there for 1 sec, and then I'm going to do the goodbyes.
Alrighty.
Check and make sure this thing's still going. You wouldn't believe we've come back in on a star wipe.
Wouldn't dream of it.
Fuck, that's
but
good.
it happened.
Yeah. I'm glad you've called that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if anybody's watching this, they're going to fucking hate it. But
Oh, it's going to be so distracting.
oh, absolutely. I love that people are going to hate that. This is the thing. I've always tried, like, to be a people pleaser.
Yeah. You got to do some stuff for you.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
I just, especially when I'm making stuff, I'm like, I got to make it so people can hear it. And it doesn't sound awful. It doesn't look weird. And it's like sometimes you just got to star wipe the fuck out of people.
Yeah.
Just for your own sake.
Yeah.
Count in front of a real estate agent so she understands, Sometimes you just got to be the fuckhead.
Yeah.
Because it's fun.
Yeah.
And on that note, you guys, we fuck heads as well. It's good fun.
It is.
Were you gonna? You said
yeah, no, because I have a lot of that, of just because I don't like I have myself haven't done much stand up recently because I've been hosting a lot of trivia nights, and I throw a lot of jokes in there.
Well, you gotta have a good.
They're
vibe.
entirely for me.
Good.
And like they have a decent hit rate considering, but there's some which die every single time, and I will never not do it. There was one question. It was about. It mentioned the main ingredient of a Slivovitz cocktail. I cannot remember what the answer was. But when I was doing the answers, I would say, some of you wrote your answer is Dennis Franz. So you're thinking of a Sipowitz cocktail.
Yeah, that's a must.
Clean. I do these. I do these I did it like four nights a week, so 4 times I dropped that joke.
Fuck.
Not a single laugh except like one person on the Wednesday lost their shit.
Yep.
And then no one else. I was like,
no,
these
that's
jokes
what
are just for me.
That's what you want. One person within 7 gigs.
Yeah.
Like people like if you can get one person laughing in the crowd, all that nonsense. But it's genuinely I love doing that at a table.
Yeah.
Like if I'm maybe like 5 people away from somebody on the opposite side, that's the audience.
Yeah.
Like that's the person I'm just sort of doing stuff or pretending that people can't see me.
Yeah.
Just like rearranging, like trying to store the salt upside down.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't spill, but if you got to pick it up, it's going to go fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's not like this loose salt shaker. It's like you can see that that's going to go everywhere.
Yeah.
Well,
like I remember last time I did a festival show. I can't remember what the joke was, but it was a joke towards the start. That always died. Not died, but it was like it never really got much. And then about 4 nights into like a 12-night run, one person at the front laughed at it really hard. I was like, that's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough for it to stay in the show. Because I was thinking about getting rid of it. But I was just like, it's me and that one person.
That's it. That's where you're hunting for the, like, you're like, fuck it, I'm going to throw the trifecta on instead of, like, you know what I mean? You're going to slim your odds. But, it's going to pay off.
Yeah.
Like, that laugh is better than a standing ovation.
Yeah.
If you go
it feels so good.
Yeah. That's just like, that was just for me, but I'm glad you liked it too.
Yeah.
All right, man, we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you very much for coming.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Do you have anything to plug? Or
I always just plug my Twitter because I don't really do much recently anymore.
Plug your X. It's X. Don't shut me down.
We're not surely not getting shut down for that. It's always going to be Twitter to me.
I'm not going to be shut down for anything, man. I don't even think like.
I keep forgetting that
watching this.
That's how poor that rebrand went. Is that I keep forgetting that it's actually supposed to be called that.
Well, it's literally people just say the other one.
Yeah,
it's like Duvet's a brand or fucking Xerox. It's just it's synonymous now.
Yeah,
with its own product. Like if they'd changed anything about the way it looked.
Yeah,
just anything.
Yeah.
Like, even if you go to twitter.com, it still directs you to the site you need to go to. It's like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
No one else is going to buy the name Twitter.
Yeah. I don't think they can.
Exactly. They still, like, you've got to give up. Like, can I buy Twitter now?
Yeah.
Just
surely you should not call that anymore.
You should be able to. Using it?
Yeah.
Can I have the website too?
Yeah.
That's where they get you. They'll say, you can use it, but the website's going to cost you out the arse to actually get twitter.com. That's the problem. They forgot about .au, motherfuckers. We're going to get localized on this shit.
Australian-only Twitter. Actually wouldn't go too bad. Like
if you're from any other country, you can view.
Yeah.
But you can't.
You only write if you're from
only write permissions
which
from Australia.
Which actually would not be too bad because the Seppos love a deranged rant on Twitter.
Oh, absolutely.
It's
I
and so
think
it's
we
like,
should start having that for like, because I'd read the fuck out of Scottish only Twitter.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, that stuff's hectic.
Yeah.
Just picking a random country, getting it translated. You're like,
Yeah.
this is not anything I understand.
Yeah.
brokeandhome@gmail.com if you want to write anything in there. Any other details I will have in the description or in the Spotify details as well.
If this is on YouTube, can we do a thing where we point somewhere and a thing pops up?
You
Click
can,
here.
but whether or not I can do anything about that.
Click here.
No.
For
The problem is with you doing the click here thing and pointing is that it'll become very evident that I have absolutely no other videos around.
yeah.
I'll just have an empty box for a click thing that sends you nowhere.
Can you do that because sometimes that'll be I feel like there's a thing where it'll come up with a video. If you're watching an old video and they'll go click here for other stuff. I think Mojo does it a lot. Like you'll watch an old Mojo video and they'll be like, check out these other clips, and some of them will be more recent. Some of them will be more recent than the one that you're watching.
Right. It just auto generates.
So
I'm sure anybody who's
how it
done
goes.
anything on YouTube fucking hates me right now.
Anyway, the point is click here. So
Click here for anything. Just something will be there, blocking my
Yeah.
fucking lovely sign. I've put a lot of
Yeah.
effort into.
it's sorry, do it down here. Click there. People are just clicking.
Click
and
at my crotch.
Just keep.
Yeah.
They just keep pausing the video because they're clicking on the screen. It's like they keep telling me to click.
See, originally I was just
Yeah.
doing this as like one of those
Yeah.
slow GIFs of just like old fucking internet websites, but
Yeah.
it's very much just pointing at my crotch.
Click here.
Click here.
You should
then.
do that. That should be your
Click here for a bit of that mustache love.
always over your crotch. And if the guest has something to plug, put it over their crotch. Be like, click here.
Put it directly over their face.
Click here for all of my junk.
But yeah, we've been broken home. Well, I have, and this is the guy that was in it.
I have also been that.